Hi, I'm James Charlesworth, and in this video we'll be creating a new Vite project from scratch and taking a look at all the different files and things that get created. And I'll talk you through what they all do. If you're new to Vite or web development in general, then this video is for you. If you're an experienced developer, then this video will give you a good overview of what Vite has to offer and how you can use it to build fast, lightweight web projects. Vite is a build tool and development server that is designed to be fast, lightweight and easy to use. It's perfect for building small to medium-sized web projects. I use Vite all the time when I'm creating web applications in TypeScript and React.js. So TypeScript and React are the two options that we're going to be selecting for this video, but the Vite project isn't all that different if you are going to be using it for Svelte or Vue or anything like that for that matter. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a new Vite project, and you can create one of those by typing npm create vite at latest into the command line. You'll need Node.js version at least 14.18 for this, but it will tell you if you need to upgrade npm first. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be selecting React and then TypeScript in these menu options. And then once that's finished, we can cd into that new directory and run code dot to open up a new instance of Visual Studio Code. I'll also go back and run npm install like it says to do here. So let's have a look at what's inside using Visual Studio Code in this file browser on the left hand side. You can see that we've got vite.config.ts. This is where we configure Vite itself. For JavaScript, this will be a .js file, not a .ts file. And you can add plugins in here. So you can see by default, we've got the React plugin. So that was added by me selecting React as one of the options when I set up Vite. Obviously, if you chose Vue, there'll be a Vue plugin in there. But you can also do control space in VS Code, and you can get IntelliSense to show you the keys that you can put into this config file. So you can kind of learn this just by experimenting with what things can go in there. The next file we're going to look at is the tsconfig.json. This is our TypeScript config for when we compile our Vite app. But there's also this tsconfig.node.json. This is a stripped down tsconfig file that's used during the actual Vite compilation steps themselves. So when we compile that vite.config.ts file into JavaScript, this is the tsconfig that it uses there. And then when we're building the actual Vite bundle, we use the main config file with all of these additional settings. You can see this main tsconfig imports the node one at the bottom here. So it's like a subset of the main node config JSON. Package.json, because Vite runs on Node.js, this is the standard Node.js configuration file that you'll get in any Node.js based project. This is where we declare which npm packages our app is going to be using. Package.lock.json, this is created when we do an npm install. So generally you don't need to worry about this file, but you should keep it checked into your project repository in source control. Gitignore, that's been created for us at the top here. So Vite's created us a gitignore that automatically ignores all of the build artifacts that Vite knows we're going to create. So it's kind of handy to have some of these things already filled out in this gitignore. That's all of the configuration files. Now let's have a look at the files that make up the app itself. If we go in here, we can see that there's an index.html. This is the HTML file for our web app. So by default, Vite creates us a single page application. So this is the only HTML file that we're going to need to run it with. You can change the page title in here, and that's what will show up on the top of your tab in Chrome. And it's also worth noting the script tag with a type of module. When you run Vite in development mode, it uses JavaScript modules to keep your code separated out into multiple files. You can read more about JavaScript modules in the link in the description below. But after you've built your web app with npm run build, Vite will actually remove this script tag and it will reference all of your code from one bundle. So it's a bit more like Webpack in production. That's because JavaScript modules are only supported in the most modern browsers. The philosophy behind Vite is that you'll be developing and testing your website with a modern browser, but when it's published, you want it to be supported on slightly older browsers too. So that's why it has these two methods. So they take advantage of all these new features in development for speed, but then they compile them down to something different for compatibility when you do a build. There's also this public folder in here. This is where we keep files that get copied to the build output, and they're included alongside your website code. So any images or standalone CSS files or videos or Lottie animations or that sort of thing go into the public folder. The source folder, this is the source files for our Vite-based web application. And we've also got the dist folder. This folder isn't there when you first create a Vite project. This is where your website files are basically built to. So you can upload this entire folder to a web hosting environment and that will be your website. So that's it for our tour of a new Vite project. We've covered a lot of ground in this video and I hope you've learned something new. We've created a Vite project from scratch and we've looked at all the different file types and what they do inside the project. Vite is a powerful and easy to use tool that makes it simple to build fast, lightweight web projects. If you want to learn more about Vite or web development in general, there are plenty of resources available online. The Vite documentation is a great place to start and it's very easy to follow and it has a lot of examples and things. You can find a link to that in the description below. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, then please leave them in the comments section below and don't forget to subscribe to Train to Code here on YouTube. My name's James Charlesworth and I'll see you in the next video.